So our first function is going to be the sine of x plus x squared. And now you should remember that the derivative of sine is cosine. So we're just going to do that here on the right hand side. And then we're going to take our x plus x squared out for chain rule. And remember, the derivative of these guys is pretty easy, right? It's going to be 1 plus 2x. Now our next guy is going to be a bit trickier here. F of x equals sine x plus x squared. And again, we're remembering that the derivative of sine is cosine. So we do that for both terms. And then since we have x squared, we got to deal with that somehow. So by chain rule, we just have that d over dx in the middle there. And so that's obviously 2x. Now our next guy is going to be the sine of cosine x. And so you'll notice a pattern here. There's a lot of chain rules going on. Remember, the derivative of sine is cosine. So we take our cos out and then we get cos of cos x. And now our d over dx cos x is negative sine x, which is again another trig derivative you should know. So if we do the sine of sine x now, we take our sine x out, we have our cos of sine x, and then the d over dx sine x is obviously cos of x. And so let's ramp this up a bit here. So sine of cos x over x, okay, it's kind of the same thing again. We take our cos x over x out, and then we have cos of cos x over x. So taking the derivative in the middle here, you'll see that we get negative x sine x minus cos x over x squared. And that's directly follows from the quotient rule for derivatives, where the reason we have negative x sine x is actually because the derivative of cos x is negative sine x, and our x from the bottom stays the same, and then our negative cos x is because our x disappeared, and we have our negative from the quotient rule. And so now if we do a similar derivative here, where we're just taking the sine of cos x over x this time, we can again use the quotient rule, where remember, we found earlier the derivative of sine x cos x. So if you want to take a look at that if you forgot, but really we're just plugging that in here now. So that's pretty standard quotient rule magic right there. And now we'll move on to a new guy here, which is taking the sine of x plus sine x. And so if we move this inside out here for the chain rule and turn our sine into a cos on the right hand side, it makes taking the derivative in the middle here pretty simple, right? Because derivative of x is 1 and of sine x is cos x. So we're done for this guy. And now our big daddy from the cover page here, sine of cos of sine x. Now you might be a bit intimidated, but remember, we've been doing this all day. No stress here. So we change our sine to a cos on the right hand side and take out our inside again, like we've been doing for the chain rule all day. And then, okay, this is a bit more annoying, but remember, we're just doing the same thing here. We take our sine x out, and then we switch our cos to a negative sine x. And then taking the derivative of sine x, since we took it out earlier, we get cos x. And so that's our final derivative of this first guy at the top here. And yeah, we're done.